Ooh, prime rib. Hot, juicy, scrumptiously decadent, rich, thick, meaty goodness, a mouthgasm in every bite. But wait, there's more. For we won't be making any old prime rib. Oh no. This is Optimus prime rib. And by Optimus, I mean it's cold smoked before cooking. After all, this is Smoky Dave Presents Smokin'!
Today, we're going to be cooking this beautiful 8-pound Angus prime rib. And of course, this is Smoky Dave, so what are we going to do before we cook it? We're going to cold smoke it, of course. 3 hours in the cold smoker using mesquite and hickory, my two favorite woods for beef. You've got to have a stronger smoke wood when you're doing beefs and that red kind of meat, you know, if you're going to do venison or anything like that. Typically with pork and chicken, we like to use the sweeter and a little lighter fruit woods like apple and pecan and cherry, peach, that kind of thing.
It's a cool, crisp, and sunny Christmas Eve 2023, and I'm getting the prime rib into the cold smoker for approximately 3 hours with hickory and mesquite wood mix. The rib roast is done smoking, and you can see the colors infused into the meat. Now, as I said, this is Christmas Eve, so I'm going to vac pack the meat overnight to allow the smoke to fully penetrate into the roast. For the coating mix I'm going to put on the rib roast, I'm going to be using some of the leftover seasoned butter and marrow from my last video on marrow bones, the last video from 2023. We're going to be making a coating mix to go on this, and that coating mix will contain 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper, 2 teaspoons of thyme. Now if you get fresh thyme, use that, but of course this is the winter time, so my thyme's dead. But I do have 2 teaspoons of fresh chopped rosemary. That's the nice thing about rosemary, it grows year round. And of course, normally you would use 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, but I use the entire garlic head, about 8 cloves, because I love garlic. But you know, you do what you like as far as flavor, but I think the garlic really brings everything out in the meat. In the broth around the meat, I've got some quartered onions here. This will add to the flavor of the au jus. And I'm going to start out the base with just a can of beer that'll be pouring in here once we've got the whole thing coated with our mix. I will mix the dry ingredients with the still boiling marrow butter and then apply to the roast. Now, you could certainly use olive oil or some other type of oil base, but I had marrow butter, and that just sounds like the best and richest way to add even more amazing flavors and textures. Finally, after the roast is fully coated, I'll add the onions and the beer to the pan, and it's ready to go into the oven. Well, we will want to put the top on. We will cook it with the top on for 1 hour, and then let it sit in the oven for up to an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to be using the meter thermometer, which will tell me when the center is perfectly ready, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. I set my oven temperature to 425 degrees, and my meter thermometer is telling me that the center of the roast is currently reading 49 degrees.
The roast has been in the oven for an hour, and I turn the oven off. This is called slack oven cooking. The roast will continue to cook low and slow, but I wanted to show you that the ambient temperature in the pan outside the roast is 300 degrees, even though the oven is set to 425. This is because the broth in the pan. Notice that the center of the roast is up about 20 degrees now since we put it in. A massive big thanks goes out to my son and his family for getting me this amazing thermometer. Once the roast has reached 130 degrees in the center, I take it out, take off the top, and throw it back in with the broiler on for just a few minutes to get a nice crust. And then we let the roast rest for 30 minutes. Once the 30 minutes is up, it's time for plating. And oh mama, was it worth the wait. I'll tell you what, look at the juices of that thing. Oh, I wish I could have shared a piece with you because it was delicious. The smoke penetrated about 1.5 inches into the meat. And of course the rich, delicious marrows and all of the flavors that we added just made for the perfect Christmas rib roast. Served with an ice-cold glass of my smoky mead. Oh yeah, things are looking good for 2024.
Time to eat.